What's happening, guys? Frag-Jitsu here. Today I want to just share some knowledge that I've gained and some experiences that I've had in Frag YouTube for the past year since I started. I'm almost at the 1 year mark and I get basically 100 subscribers a month. Whether it's like a good month or a bad month, when you average it out, it's like 100 subscribers a month. I'm almost to 8 months and I'm almost to 800 subscribers. I honestly don't care about that, but I did have a little phase where, you know, when you start this thing and you get a bunch of views on your first video, you're like super thrilled. And you start to get pulled into this like direction of, I saw it happen to me too, where I was like, the cheap fragrances get all the views. So then I'm like all of a sudden interested in cheap fragrances. I'm interested in those Middle Eastern houses. I'm interested in what gets the clicks. And you start to mold yourself into like what these big fake channels are. And honestly, guys, I'm glad that I broke away from that. I don't care that I took a hit on views. My views definitely went down since I've gotten away from this commercialized kind of value system of YouTube channels at the top really are mainly just employees for these companies in some way, shape, or form. I doubt a lot of their credibilities and I think they're lying sometimes. But the problem with lying sometimes is that it's like the boy who cried wolf. I don't know what they're actually lying about anymore. So if I catch a fragrance YouTuber seeming disingenuous about something, I don't know if I trust them anymore. And the basis of every relationship you get in, guys, you cannot have a relationship if there is no trust. That is with business, that is with personal life, that is with romantic life. If you have no trust, you have no relationship. So if I don't trust the words coming out of someone's mouth and they might be motivated by money or a company that's paying them, they're just an employee, they're just a shill. For me personally, I stay away from that. That's a valuable lesson that I learned this year on this FragCom thing, being a part of it, a very, very small part of YouTube, which I'm fine being down here, guys. I don't care about the subscribers. This is more for me to get my voice out there, and it's nobody's fault but my own or some kind of processes that got into my head at some point in my life where I always felt like when I was talking, nobody was listening. And I know that's partially not true. I mean, people are listening to you all the time, but the channel is here as a safe place for me to put my ideas out there and have willing people actually listening to me talk. And it's very fascinating to me that I get all these views and that I get, you know, even 100 views for me feels crazy. Like, you kind of just get this jaded feeling. Like, you see people with millions of views and they're really cool, but I get 100 views and I'm like, that's 100 people who spent their time, which we don't have. Like, I don't think everyone has a lot of time to waste listening to people talk. And it's just crazy to me to even have 100 views, 50 views. That's a lot. We overlook that, guys. And for me, appreciation is probably the second lesson that I got. Because you could be hoping for all of this more. You get this kind of hedonic treadmill. You need more, you know, affirmation from everyone else. You need more approval. You need more views. You need more out. I don't even care anymore. I had a phase where I really only cared about all that stuff. And it feels liberating to me to just let that go. I'm not chasing that anymore. And neither should you guys. If you want to start a channel, just start a channel and keep doing stuff. Don't worry about the views and the subs. It doesn't matter. For me, 10 people subscribed and that was already cool, because one person listening is so much value to me. 100 people listening is almost incomprehensible. And when you get thousands of views, like some of my videos have gotten to thousands, that to me is just huge. If I ever see 1 million views on a video, I'm going to be like totally nuked. Like, I'll be totally beside myself. So getting into this, a friend of mine got me, my name was Beginner Mindset. And it started with the idea of having a beginner mindset, which was given to me by a friend who died. Now, my friend had cancer. He fought it for 10 years. He was a really deep thinking, really philosophical, and just super thoughtful, almost like a philosopher that nobody's heard about. The guy was just incredible to know. And he died, and his name on one of the apps he had was Beginner Mindset. And I remember seeing it and saying, hey, what's this? And he told me beginner mindset is just a way of approaching things, a way of approaching topics, and a way of being, a way of always having a sense of wonder and fascination. And now I bring that sense of wonder and fascination with me when I'm talking to anybody. And you know what? It brings an inquisitive, caring kind of angle to almost every interaction. The way I treat fragrances is very similar to that. I always bring this beginner's mindset with me. I try to learn more about it. I try to get deeper and immersed in it. I try to imagine as I'm wearing things and smelling things and feeling them and looking at the bottles and looking at the quality and just going into the perfumers a little bit more, getting deeper. Some channels, guys, they're just commercialized and I don't care about them at all. It's up to you to find them. Again, if they're lying a little bit about one thing, they're probably, to me, written off completely. For me, it's all about authenticity, and the way I approach everything is with this beginner's mindset. So appreciating fragrances, even like a mass appealing hype beast like Hawass Fire. Well, guess what? I have a lot of these kinds of fragrances, and this one rises to the top. You could get this one and never get any of the other ones. And I wouldn't know that if I hadn't had this experience and I hadn't been an honest person who can just come to you and say, hey, all these other fragrances you don't need. This one, though, stands out and is special to me. Hawass Fire, sick. Nishane's Woolong Cha, higher end of the cost spectrum. But for me, this made it to my wedding. Literally 7 days ago, had a huge wedding with a lot of fun and a lot of emotion. And this was the morning part of it. This was the beginning part of it. I wore this for the first 2-3 hours. As soon as I saw it come down, I sprayed something else, which I'll show you next. But Woolong Cha, for me, signified one of the first niche fragrances that I reached for. And this was, to me, the intro into this new kind of idea where, okay, there is a higher market quality. There is something luxury. There is something a bit exclusive about something being a little bit more expensive. And the quality is just here, guys. The bottle's a beauty. The sprayer is really nice. The cap is magical. Like, I really enjoy having this and being a part of this. Those of you who have this, it's really like a cool shared experience that we have, that we both experience this. Some of you might get bored of this fragrance. And guess what? I had a phase 2 where this was kind of boring to me. I needed more. And then I rediscovered and rediscovered this fragrance. And it just, now it's one of my favorite fragrances of all time. And you guys out there, it's very simple. It's a very calming, easy to wear tea citrus fragrance with a little bit of fig kind of component to it. It's very natural herbal smell, very plant-like smell, very ethereal, real smell. Like, it's a beauty, it wafts, it's very nice, and the quality is just all there. Woolong Cha made it to a very important day in my life, and the fragrance hobby I carry with me. It's almost like every time I smell a fragrance, I have this reminder, this sense of wonder, this reminder of being into things and just like being immersed into things. And that's kind of why I started this channel in the first place. If you guys have been with me, you know, I used to review books, do jiu-jitsu coaching content. I'm super into humans. I'm super into how we think, learn, move, the science behind us. I'm super into all that stuff, and I don't share it too much because the channel needed to be kind of cut into one niche, and right now that's what it's going to be. It's just a fragrance niche right now, but I'm going to try to find ways to sneak in some of these other things that I'm actually very well read in and very experienced at, specifically coaching and human behavior, and the ways we tick, and the ways we learn, and the ways we move, and the environment. All these things are very important for me. Something like Zafar, guys, like really, this year my taste changed. And this is one thing that shows that. This is an outside of the box fragrance that I just kind of found, like in a sample set. I remember being really challenged by it at the beginning, and then all of a sudden I'm in love with it, and now I have the bottle. I don't just buy things, guys. I also slowed down almost to a crawl. I basically 6-7 months have almost gone by where I've only bought 5 or 6 fragrances this whole time. But I'm more deliberate, and I learned about that. I learned about basically you get this pull to get something and this compulsion to get something, and you just resist it, and you wait, and you wait, and you're not reactive. And I think this is a valuable skill to have with people as well. Whenever somebody challenges you or insults you or does anything, take a minute before you react, 10 seconds of silence, think about your response, think about how you feel, and then speak. And that's kind of putting this desire in its place by slowing down. And this is symbolic to me of a change in taste, a change in my values, a change in how I think, how I deal with myself, how I deal with any kind of feeling of compulsion, of like a fear of missing out, like I need another thing. Something like this reminds me, like, hey, you looked at this fragrance for 7-8 months before you pulled the trigger on it. And this was a super deliberate buy. And that's kind of where I'm at now, where I'm not just grabbing all of these Middle Eastern fragrances so that I could spit out reviews to you guys, because I don't want to be that. That's not my goal. Is to just share the love of that I have and the feelings that I get and the opinion that I have of the fragrances that make it into my collection. And if they make it into my collection henceforth, they are extremely worthy fragrances to be talked about, because I deliberately hunted these fragrances down, sampled them, whatever. Blind bought them off of the opinions of the few people that I listen to on here. I have an eclectic mix of fragrance YouTubers that I do like. There's about 8 of you. You all know who you are because I'm probably popping up here and there. I'm not always consuming fragrance content, but when I am, it's usually set amount of people, from tiny channels with less than 200 subscribers to huge channels with 10,000. For me, that's enormous. I only have 700 or 800, which is like 100 a month is basically my, 100 a month is basically my average user that subscribes. I have more viewers than subscribers. People returning, like there's like thousands of people who return. They're my returning viewers, but they don't hit subscribe. I don't really care that much. It's not to me like something that I want to be a job, but I do enjoy being authentic as long as I can. So I'm going to try to remain kind of a small, obscure channel as long as possible. Here's a fragrance, guys, that symbolizes something that once was. I used to be a Versace bro. I don't know what happened. This is a fantastic fragrance, but I just stopped wearing it. I love if other people wear it, but for me, I just can't. This is Versace Argos Flame. Something about it just frizzled for me, and it was gone. It just disappeared. My desire to reach for this, wear this, it can't compete with anything I have. And now I look at my collection and there's so many fragrances that I just don't care about anymore. They're really good, and I could tell other people they would love them, but for me to own it, I don't even care about it. It was an experience and a valuable learning experience, stepping stone in my taste building. But generally speaking, right now, I don't really care about almost anything from Versace. Dylan Blue is really good, but I gave my bottle away as a gift. Versace Argos Flame, really good, but I might actually just sell this. Like, I've never really sold a fragrance, guys. It's like in person, maybe some of my bottles, but really like less than 5 bottles I've probably sold ever. I don't really do that. I'm not in the market of like peddling fragrances. I usually keep everything I have. When you guys wonder about like cheap fragrances that get a lot of use, this one actually made it to a very important day where we were celebrating. I got taken out to a surprise dinner that I kind of knew about at a place a week before my wedding, and all the important people in our friend group, they set it up for us and they were there. So I wore this. It actually competed with everything else that I was going to pick. This silly little Middle Eastern fragrance that's cloning an expensive Louis Vuitton fragrance actually makes it, for me, into my like top 20, I guess, of my collection. Somehow, some way, some of these Middle Eastern houses are putting out good things, but I think they're like diamonds in the rough. They're not all that good. I have a lot of them that I just don't care about and I don't like. Maybe I'll make some videos about them again, but those tend to not even get that many views anyway. I might just make it just to make it, and it's controversial, and a lot of people start saying they hate me and stuff for me telling the truth about how I feel about a fragrance. You know, that's my problem to deal with, I guess. But Aquade Dubai is super good. It's that imagination clone. I had some problems with the top, that's why it's not there. The top just was like, something was wrong with it, so I just threw it out. I don't care about it. It's just super utilitarian, and me just throwing the top out and not caring about the bottle at all shows that this is just really about the wearing experience and not the bottle, even though it looks really cool. It is actually a pretty cool color. It's fun to own. I like this fragrance. Sprayer's good. Actually, sprayer's really good. Clean, citrusy, juicy, zingy, very sparkly fragrance. A little bit cleaning supplies, and if you really go hard on the sprays, you're gonna get this like lemon cleaner kind of smell. Still really good either way. That one tells a story of, I still like those utilitarian Middle Eastern cheapies or whatever, the clone houses and stuff. Some of them are actually really good, and I'm not just out to like get them. My tastes definitely have changed though, and I'm not really even looking at them anymore. A few of them sometimes pop up where I'm very interested in them, but generally speaking, I have a lot of dead fragrances. And now, speaking of dead fragrances, this one was in my Lattafa video about how, you know, top 10 Lattafas not to get. And I think I'm changing my opinion. I started wearing this again, but I've had this bottle for 2 years, or since it came out, maybe 2 years. This is like a clone of Sedley. It's a very generic lavender, mint just ambroxan, super bro fragrance with the soapiness, with the mintiness, a little bit of like a toothpaste edge to it. It's actually really good, slightly generic. If you guys like Ahmed Almagribi's Cough, something in that is also in this, like one of the fragrance notes is in that, one of the chemicals is in that. This one's actually really good. I'm changing my opinion, guys. This Lattafa is probably one of the only ones I would get from Lattafa. Actually a really good hit. This is Mahir Legacy. This is just my tastes changing. Like, this one comes out of the garbage bin and ends up back in my rotation, and now I actually enjoy wearing this utilitarian fragrance that actually has a pretty good amount of performance to it. It lasts a long time. It feels good to wear. I think it just had to sit for 2 years, which is kind of lame. When I first tried this and I kept trying it, I just kept getting this like dental image, like this toothpaste image, and it smelled like toothpaste. That's calmed quite down. Maybe it's my nose evolving, and I get more of this bro fragrance. It's not a blue fragrance. It's like a very distinct masculine shower gel, kind of out the shower, but like in a Sprite vibe twist, like one of those, you know, really uplifting kind of fragrances with that masculine lavender identity. Mahir Legacy is really good, and I changed my opinion about that. But that's the thing. I don't think you're going to see a lot of these channels change their opinions about things or tell you the truth. Like, I was wrong about that fragrance, or maybe it just changed over time, or maybe my taste changing and that fragrance changing over time got me to this point to say, hey, if you guys need a generic, really good smelling masculine freshie, this one will do it for 18 bucks, 20 bucks. Very good. Seriously good fragrance right there. Another direction that you could go, guys, with your hobby is start going to designers and spending like $160, $70, $180 on a generic fresh fragrance like this. I would not get this again. It was a pleasure to have and great to wear a few times, but I'm never buying a Chanel L'Homme Sport Eau Extreme bottle again. There are too many things in the cheapy fragrance, or even just like designers that are really good now, that aren't $180 niche fragrance prices for a Chanel mass appealed mass market designer. You know, the house itself doesn't really put out anything new or risky, in my opinion, that I really am interested in, especially in the men's department. It's all like Blue Day Chanel L'Homme Sport, generic soapy bro stuff. This one's interesting because it's got this tonka bean thing going on and this creamy kind of greenness. I really do like this one, but I'm never going to buy this again, and that is the honest truth. I do say it to people, like, you might, if you're a beginner, you might love this fragrance and it might be the only one you need. It could be the only fragrance someone owns and it could just do the job. It is actually extremely handsome. It's super good to wear, but the place I'm at now with fragrances, I would never get this again or anything like it. I don't want any more stuff like this. For me, like these Versace's, these Chanel's, these, you know, even Jean Paul Gaultier, like, I can't take this anymore. Like this fruity friggin' synthetic thing, like any of the JPGs, I usually don't even like anymore. I can't deal with them. I smell them in the air. I know what the smell is. The Le Beau is good. The Le Beau Parfum is good. Those are like coconutty tropical fragrances. But this general La Male line, I got over it. But you guys have heard me talk about how much I liked it. Well, I'm looking at my collection and I'm like, man, I hate wearing this, and man, I hate smelling this. I don't like to smell it anymore. It's just, for me, not there anymore. And that's the honest truth. And I'm kind of sick of that fragrance. I just don't like it anymore, and I don't know why. Something just happened. I like fragrances like the Argos fragrances. They're made to be enjoyed. They're special. They're exclusive enough that a lot of people don't have them yet. I know fragrance people talk about these, but almost no human being out there that's ever smelled this, asked me what it was, and I showed them, has ever even heard of Argos. Christian Petrovich is the guy behind this, and his story reminds me of my friend who owns a jewelry company, and he makes niche jewelry. He's just a solo guy running the entire company, and he makes niche jewelry to order. It's called Midnight's Honor. This is my friend Nick. One of the most valuable people in my life. I really am super close friends with this guy in real life. His name is Nick. He's got Midnight's Honor. That company is just like this. It's a guy who he's a Renaissance man, a creative individual. Christian Petrovich, he had a art, photo, modeling career. He's into designer stuff. He learns perfumery on his own with the help of maybe someone, and he perfumes all of these fragrances in his line and gets himself worldwide known just off of his own hard work and his own genius and his own marketing. This fragrance, Fall of Phaeton, made it to my wedding, like the main part of my wedding, the night of my wedding, everything. This was the morning I wore Nishane's Woolong Cha, the rest of the wedding, the rest of the memory, I have Fall of Phaeton as the thing I chose. This is probably one of my favorite fragrances ever. I love all of the Argos fragrances. I like Palace Athene in a more feminine way. That's very good. Super floral, heavy fragrance. But something about this is just very special to me, and I'll always remember that I picked this for a very important day. I would rather go to this route where there's exclusivity, where not everybody has ever even experienced Argos. But if I ever run into someone out there who knows what Argos smells like, who's had the experience with this, it's going to be an awesome time to connect with that person when they say, what are you wearing? And I go, Argos. And they're like, I have one from them too. Like, I have not yet I don't even know if I'll ever experience that, guys. I really don't. No one knows what this is. 3 people asked me, what are you wearing that day? It smells so good. Like, they were like completely taken by how good this smelled, right? But it was something they never experienced yet. And it was me in my suit looking great with this following me. And at night I had a different outfit on that was also very nice, to the nines, really classic kind of style, guys. And this was accompanying me, back of the neck, down the arms, just radiating off of me in a beautiful cloud. And Fall of Phaeton enraptured people. I had someone actually ask me over and over again, and I was playing hard to get and not telling them what it was. And I turned to them and I was like, I'll send you a picture of the bottle. And I sent them a picture and they were just like, whoa, that's a beauty. If I got them into something really cool, very good. Anyone who comes to my house anyway, all my friends, they get to be exposed to like 1,000 fragrances and all these different profiles. And I always have my friends leave with a sample or with something sprayed on them. Argos will always be one of the most important houses to me because of Christian Petrovich. I like his story. It's like the American dream almost. He made his own company, built it up, marketed it really well, made a beautiful imagery. Every fragrance he learned how to perfume himself. Whether or not he had some help, I don't know. I can't find evidence on that. I know he does have a lab in France now, but I don't know how much other people are making his stuff and how much is him. I think it's all him, and that's really all that matters. I like his story, and this is probably, to me, just one of the best fragrance houses for me. I will always hype them, and I really do enjoy them. The first one I ever got was Triumph of Bacchus, and the other night I was wearing this, and my mom was like, hey, what is that? That's great. And she usually doesn't like smells, guys. So this is a big deal for me that mom liked it. Besides that, I really like this. So at family get-togethers and stuff, I don't mind putting a spray or 2 of this on. It is very alluring, attractive, and syrupy and peachy and beautiful. Super easy to wear. I had a phase where I didn't like it, and then all of a sudden I just can't get away from it. I'm gonna have to get the big bottle of this and the big bottle of Fall of Phaeton, and probably these 2 are the top ones. Danae is also nice, but I don't have the same connection with it because of its generic kind of easiness. I need something a little bit deeper and richer from them, and they really specialize in that kind of scent. Now, to continue, something like Ambre Sultan, it's just the significance of the change of my tastes over the past year. The content that I want to put out has nothing to do with the same things that get thousands of views anymore. I'm just going to keep putting out content about fragrances that make me sing. Really, that's it. And if nobody watches it, that's fine too. And if I grow really slow, I don't even care, guys. I really don't. I'm just here for the few people who interact with me in the comments and a place for my voice to be heard. And with that being said, that's all I got to say. Peace.